Good morning, champions. Today we are going to explore one of the most powerful forces you have at your disposal. The force that can change your life, break your limits, and propel you into the future you've always envisioned. I'm talking about self-discipline. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Discipline sounds like a burden. It sounds like a set of rules, limits, and constraints. But let me tell you something that will change the way you think about discipline forever. Self-discipline is the key to your freedom. Self-discipline is often misunderstood. Many see it as a set of rigid rules or an imposition that restricts freedom, but the truth is that self-discipline is the key to personal freedom. To fully understand this concept, you must look beyond the traditional idea of discipline as something that controls or limits you. Instead, self-discipline is about making conscious choices that create the space for true freedom to flourish. It is about taking control of your own life, decisions, and actions in a way that opens doors rather than shuts them. Self-discipline is the foundation that allows you to unlock your potential, reach your goals, and live the life you truly desire. We often hear people say they want to be free from stress, free from obligations, free from financial burdens, free from fear. The truth is that freedom doesn't come from external circumstances, nor does it come from avoiding responsibility or commitment. True freedom is a product of inner strength, a deep understanding that your actions shape your future. When you begin to practice self-discipline, you gain the power to shape your life. It allows you to take full ownership of your circumstances, no longer being at the mercy of outside forces. Self-discipline gives you the ability to make conscious decisions that move you toward your highest potential, not just today, but in every aspect of your future. The reason self-discipline is such a powerful tool is because it grants you the freedom to focus on what truly matters. The world is full of distractions, pulling you in different directions. Immediate pleasures, the latest trends, the noise of external opinions, and even self-doubt. These distractions keep you in a constant state of reaction, where you're always responding to outside influences rather than creating your own reality. The self-discipline allows you to break free from that cycle. It helps you stay focused on your long-term vision, prioritizing what will actually lead you to a fulfilling life rather than getting lost in the momentary distractions that seem so enticing but ultimately have no lasting value. Living without self-discipline often means living in a reactive state, constantly putting out fires rather than proactively designing the life you want. It is easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of day-to-day tasks and obligations, and before you know it, you're spending all your energy on things that don't align with your true desires. Your time, your health, your relationships. These are your most valuable assets, and without discipline, you're often not using them in a way that serves your long-term happiness. Instead, they slip away through poor choices or neglect. When you take the time to build and reinforce self-discipline, you begin to harness those resources in a focused way. You start prioritizing what adds value to your life, and in doing so, you create more freedom for yourself. Another reason self-discipline is the gateway to freedom is because it eliminates the chaos that comes from lack of control. When we are undisciplined, our lives can feel out of balance. We may overindulge in unhealthy habits, procrastinate on important tasks, or make decisions based on fleeting emotions rather than long-term reasoning. This chaotic behavior often leads to feelings of anxiety, guilt, and frustration. The truth is, when you're undisciplined, your life is driven by external factors and momentary impulses. If you don't feel in control, and that lack of control robs you of the sense of freedom you're longing for. Self-discipline, on the other hand, helps you create structure and order in your life. It empowers you to say no to the distractions, the negative influences, and the self-sabotaging behaviors that prevent you from achieving your full potential. With self-discipline, you are able to set clear boundaries for yourself. Boundaries that protect your time, energy, and focus from being wasted. You choose to say yes to the things that align with your goals, and you start taking deliberate actions that move you closer to the life you want to create. This sense of order and control gives you a deep sense of personal freedom because you're no longer being tossed around by the circumstances of your life. Instead, you are driving the course of your journey. But this freedom doesn't just come from removing distractions or setting boundaries. It comes from the simple act of doing what is difficult and uncomfortable. The freedom that self-discipline brings is rooted in delayed gratification. The ability to choose long-term benefits over short-term pleasures. Self-discipline requires you to make tough decisions, to push through moments of discomfort, and to sacrifice temporary pleasures for the things that will lead to greater success, happiness, and fulfillment. It's easy to take the easy route, to give in to the temptation of immediate satisfaction. But in the long run, this only leads to regret and a sense of being trapped in a cycle of instant gratification. When you practice self-discipline, you're saying no to that cycle. You are choosing to take control of your actions, and in doing so, creating freedom for yourself. The more you build this muscle, the more empowered you feel to make the tough decisions that lead to real progress. And in that progress, you'll find the freedom to live on your own terms, without being bound by the whims of others or the lure of momentary indulgence. The beauty of self-discipline is that it also frees you from the constraints of fear. Fear is one of the biggest things that holds people back. It holds you back from taking risks, from stepping out of your comfort zone, from pursuing your dreams. But the more disciplined you become, the less control fear has over you. With each small victory in self-discipline, you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort, that you can take on challenges, and that you can achieve things that once seemed impossible. The fear that once held you back starts to lose its grip, and you begin to feel free to go after your biggest goals without hesitation or doubt. In the end, self-discipline is not about limiting yourself. It is about creating the foundation for true freedom. It is about choosing to act in alignment with your highest values, making choices that serve your future self, and liberating yourself from the habits and patterns that keep you stuck. When you begin to exercise self-discipline, you'll find that your life opens up in ways you never imagined possible. The power of small daily actions is often underestimated. People tend to think that success comes from a few major decisions or significant moments. They look for the breakthrough, the big moment when everything changes, but the truth is that success is rarely about one grand gesture. Instead, it's the small, consistent actions taken every day that build the foundation for lasting change and progress. The power of small daily actions lies not just in the tasks themselves, but in the cumulative impact these actions have over time. When you commit to taking meaningful steps every single day, you create momentum that eventually propels you toward your goals and dreams. At the heart of this concept is the principle of compounding. A single small action may seem insignificant on its own. Maybe it's a single workout, one healthy meal, a few minutes spent learning something new, or even just a small act of kindness. These moments might not feel transformative in the moment, but they accumulate over time. When you commit to doing something positive each day, that small step compounds into massive progress over time. Just like the effect of compound interest in financial investments, small daily actions build on one another and begin to create exponential growth. One of the key aspects of small daily actions is their ability to create a powerful sense of consistency. People often become discouraged because they expect immediate results from their efforts. They want to see dramatic changes right away. But that's not how real progress works. Real, lasting change is the result of steady, consistent effort. The small daily actions you take may not give you instant results, but over time, they add up to something much bigger. It's this consistency that becomes the secret weapon in your pursuit of success. When you show up every day, doing what needs to be done, even when it's difficult, even when you don't feel like it, you create a pattern of behavior that leads to accomplishment. Moreover, small daily actions help you develop a mindset of discipline. Discipline doesn't mean making huge sacrifices all at once. It means showing up and doing what needs to be done, no matter how small the task might seem. This mindset of discipline gradually becomes ingrained in your life. Every time you choose to take a small action, you're reinforcing your ability to follow through and stay committed. Over time, your self-discipline grows stronger, and you start to see that consistency becomes less of a struggle and more of a habit. The more disciplined you become, the more effortless those small actions feel, and this leads to greater success with less mental resistance. The beauty of small daily actions is that they are within your control. It's It's easy to look at a large goal or dream and feel overwhelmed by the distance between where you are now and where you want to be. But the power of small daily actions shifts the focus away from the big picture and back to the present moment. Instead of worrying about the future or how long it will take to get there, you simply focus on the next small step in front of you. This makes the journey feel more manageable and less daunting. You can focus on what you can do today, right now, without getting lost in the uncertainty of the future. Another key benefit of small daily actions is their ability to keep you aligned with your goals. It's easy to get sidetracked by distractions, to lose focus, or to become reactive rather than proactive. But when you take intentional actions each day, no matter how small, you are constantly moving forward. These daily actions act as guideposts that keep you on track. They remind you of your commitment to your goals and help you stay grounded in what truly matters. As a result, you're less likely to get derailed by minor setbacks or obstacles. Instead of focusing on what you haven't accomplished yet, you'll find yourself celebrating the daily victories which keep you motivated and moving forward. There is also a deeper emotional and psychological benefit to taking small daily actions. Many people struggle with feelings of inadequacy or frustration when they don't see immediate results. This is especially true in a world that often encourages instant gratification. But when you commit to doing something meaningful each day, no matter how small, you begin to build a sense of self-worth and accomplishment. Each day that you show up and take action, you reinforce the idea that you are capable of doing what it takes to achieve your goals. This sense of progress, even if it's small, builds confidence and a positive self-image. You start to see yourself as someone who is committed to growth, someone who follows through, and someone who is on the path to success. The power of small daily actions also lies in their ability to help you overcome the biggest obstacle to progress: procrastination. Procrastination often stems from the feeling that a task is too big or overwhelming. When you break a large goal or project into smaller, manageable actions, the task no longer feels insurmountable. Instead of putting off the work because it feels like too much, you can tackle it piece by piece, step by step. Each small action brings you closer to your goal, and the more you focus on those individual actions, the less likely you are to put them off. This shift in mindset is one of the most powerful ways to combat procrastination and get into a flow of consistent productivity. Over time, these small actions start to shape your identity. You are no longer someone who dreams of success, you become someone who is actively pursuing it every day. The cumulative effect of these actions shapes who you are and who you are becoming. Your daily habits and routines begin to reflect the person you are striving to be. Instead of waiting for a breakthrough or hoping for a change, you create that change through the consistent, small steps you take each day. In the end, the power of small daily actions lies in their ability to build momentum, create consistency, and keep you aligned with your goals. They are the secret to lasting success because they don't rely on fleeting motivation or inspiration. Instead, they are grounded in the simple, powerful truth that progress is the result of consistent effort. When you commit to showing up every day, doing the small things that lead to big results, you unlock the potential for transformation. The key is not to underestimate the importance of the little things, because it's the little things that over time create something truly extraordinary. Resisting temptation in the moment is one of the greatest challenges that we face as individuals, especially when we are working toward long-term goals. It can feel incredibly difficult to push past that initial impulse, to resist the lure of short-term gratification in favor of something more substantial down the road. Yet, the ability to resist temptation is a critical skill, one that determines whether or not we can achieve the lives we want. Every time you resist a temptation, no matter how small it may seem, you are exercising a powerful form of self-control. This self-control builds over time, shaping your life in profound ways. Temptations are designed to be immediate and alluring. Whether it's the desire to procrastinate instead of working on an important project, indulging in unhealthy food instead of sticking to your diet, or succumbing to negative thoughts rather than choosing positivity, temptations offer you something quick and easy, something that promises instant pleasure or relief. They tug at your mind, your emotions, and your desires, making it difficult to stay focused on what really matters. They can be seen as distractions from your higher purpose, pulling you away from the path of progress and towards something temporary that, in the end, may leave you feeling empty. The challenge with these temptations lies in how they target your immediate needs. When you are tempted, the brain perceives it as an urgent matter, often overshadowing long-term goals. In moments of temptation, it becomes easy to justify the indulgence because it seems like the thing that will provide instant relief or satisfaction. Yet, what is truly powerful is not the resistance in the moment, but the understanding that the immediate satisfaction is fleeting and the greater rewards come from the patience and discipline that are cultivated by resisting in the first place. The key to resisting temptation is awareness. To truly overcome the pull of instant gratification, you must first recognize the temptation for what it is: a fleeting moment, a passing impulse, not a necessity. In the heat of the moment, when the urge to indulge feels overwhelming, awareness allows you to step back and pause. This pause is where the real power lies. By taking a step back and assessing the situation, you create space between the impulse and the action. This space is where you have the power to make a conscious choice. It is this awareness that creates the opportunity to make decisions based on your long-term goals rather than your immediate desires. When you can acknowledge the temptation without reacting impulsively, you give yourself the ability to choose how to respond. Rather than giving in to the momentary urge, you can redirect your focus toward your greater goals, understanding that the long-term benefits will far outweigh the fleeting satisfaction of giving in. This shift in perspective, moving from a reactive to a proactive mindset, is what allows you to remain in control. Another important aspect of resisting temptation is to remember that it is not about perfection. Too often people become discouraged because they fail to resist temptation once or twice, and in those moments they may feel like they've lost control. The truth is, resistance is a practice, not an event. It takes time, and there will be moments when you slip. But the key is not to let those moments define you or derail your progress. Instead, you must use them as learning opportunities. Every time you resist, you are strengthening your willpower, and every time you give in, you are given the chance to learn and grow. It is a process of trial and error, but the more consistently you practice resisting temptation, the easier it becomes. An important factor in this process is the cultivation of self-discipline. Self-discipline is the muscle that allows you to make choices that align with your values, goals, and desires. It's not about denying yourself pleasure or comfort. It's about understanding that true fulfillment comes from long-term growth and success, not from fleeting indulgences. The more you practice self-discipline, the more it becomes ingrained in your identity. Over time, resisting temptations becomes less of a battle and more of a natural part of who you are. Self-discipline shifts your mindset from one of immediate satisfaction to one of delayed gratification, where you learn to value the future rewards over the transient pleasures of the present. It's also crucial to understand that resisting temptation is not a matter of willpower alone. Often, the reason we give in to temptation is that we have not adequately set ourselves up for success. If we don't have a clear plan, or if we don't anticipate the moments when temptation will arise, we may find ourselves caught off guard. Successful resistance comes from preparation and strategy. This means setting up an environment that supports your goals and removing as many potential temptations as possible. It means having a clear vision of your purpose so that when moments of temptation arise, you are reminded of why you are choosing a path of discipline over indulgence. One powerful way to resist temptation is to replace the action you're trying to avoid with a positive alternative. This technique is not about suppressing desires, but about redirecting your energy. For example, if you're tempted to procrastinate by scrolling through social media, replace that action with something more aligned with your goals, like reading a book, taking a walk, or working on your project for a set amount of time. By creating healthier habits that fulfill the underlying need or desire, you slowly train your brain to seek fulfillment in ways that align with your long-term values. Resisting temptation is also about understanding the consequences of your choices. Each decision you make carries weight whether you're conscious of it or not. Giving in to temptation may offer you instant relief, but it will often come at a cost. It may delay your progress, compromise your health, or take you further away from your goals. On the other hand, when you resist, you are making an investment in your future self. You are creating a future where you feel proud of your choices, where you look back and know that you consistently made decisions that supported your well-being, your growth, and your success. Ultimately, resisting temptation is about taking control of your life and your future. Every time you resist the pull of immediate gratification, you are reinforcing your ability to make decisions that are in alignment with your higher purpose. It's about understanding that the journey to success is made up of countless small decisions, and each of those decisions is an opportunity to either reinforce your goals or delay your progress. By resisting temptation in the moment, you are building the future you want to live. Discipline is the cornerstone of any successful endeavor. It's the bridge between intention and action, between dreams and reality. While motivation may come in bursts and inspiration can fluctuate, discipline is what keeps you moving forward, even when the initial excitement fades. It is the consistent, repetitive effort that builds momentum in your life, and momentum is the force that propels you toward your goals. The power of discipline lies in its ability to create an unstoppable momentum that drives you through challenges, setbacks, and obstacles, helping you maintain focus and continue progressing even when things get difficult. In the beginning, discipline often feels like a choice that requires effort and willpower. The tasks you must complete may feel daunting, and the results seem distant. But what discipline does is create a feedback loop. Every small action you take in alignment with your goals fuels more action, and as you see results, no matter how small, your commitment deepens. At first, this may seem like an uphill climb, but as you continue to apply discipline consistently, you begin to build momentum that makes it easier to keep moving forward. Each action, no matter how small, compounds over time, leading to greater achievements. Momentum is powerful because it works both ways. Without discipline, you risk slipping into a pattern of inactivity, where procrastination takes hold and your goals seem increasingly out of reach. This lack of momentum can create feelings of stagnation or frustration, making it harder to get back on track. However, when you apply discipline consistently, you begin to move forward, even if the progress feels slow at first. Over time, this momentum picks up speed, and the path toward your goals becomes clearer and more achievable. Momentum created by discipline is also what helps you push through moments of discomfort or doubt. Life is full of challenges, and it's easy to become discouraged when faced with obstacles. When you're disciplined, you don't wait for the perfect conditions to act. You don't wait until you feel motivated or inspired. You simply take the next step. The key to creating momentum is to continue showing up and doing the work, even when it feels difficult or when you don't see immediate results. By doing so, you build a sense of confidence in yourself and your ability to navigate through adversity. With discipline, you begin to see challenges not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities to strengthen your resolve and move forward. And one of the most significant benefits of discipline is that it creates structure. Without a structured approach to achieving your goals, it's easy to become overwhelmed, lost in the process, or distracted by short-term pleasures. Discipline creates a framework within which you can consistently operate. It allows you to break down larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks, which makes progress feel more achievable. Each small action, when done consistently, leads to incremental progress, and before you know it, you find yourself closer to where you want to be. Discipline removes the ambiguity that often leads to procrastination and instead focuses your energy on purposeful, productive activities. As discipline begins to create momentum in your life, it also builds self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce your ability to keep promises to yourself. This trust is crucial for long-term success. If you can't rely on yourself to take the necessary steps toward your goals, it becomes incredibly difficult to achieve anything of significance. However, as discipline becomes ingrained in your daily habits, your self-esteem grows because you can count on yourself to do what needs to be done. This trust in your ability to act builds a deeper level of motivation that comes from within, rather than relying on external sources of inspiration. Discipline helps you establish good habits, builds a deeper level of motivation that enables you to develop positive habits by consistently guiding you toward the behaviors that align with your values and objectives. Once these habits are in place, they function almost automatically, reducing the mental energy needed to stay on track. For instance, if you commit to working out every morning, this disciplined action eventually becomes a habit. And as the habit becomes part of your routine, you no longer have to rely on sheer willpower to get you to the gym. Instead, you simply do it because it has become second nature. As these habits accumulate, they build momentum in a way that makes it easier to continue on your path without requiring as much effort or thought. The process of building momentum through discipline also extends to your emotional and mental state. When you consistently show up for yourself, doing the work day in and day out, you create a positive feedback loop in which your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, and your determination strengthens. Each success, no matter how small, boosts your belief in your ability to succeed. This feeling of momentum becomes like a snowball rolling downhill, gaining energy and speed as it continues. The more disciplined you are, the more you begin to see yourself as someone capable of achieving great things. This transformation in self-picture is an essential part of achieving long-term success, because your beliefs and mindset directly impact the actions you take. Momentum doesn't just apply to the completion of tasks, it affects every area of your life. When you establish discipline in one area, such as fitness or productivity, it often spills over into other areas as well. The momentum you create in one aspect of your life can fuel progress in others. For example, as you build discipline around your work habits, you may find that your relationships improve because you are more present and intentional with your time. As you discipline yourself to prioritize self-care, your physical and emotional well-being improves, which, in turn, enhances your ability to stay focused on your goals. Momentum, once it begins, creates a ripple effect that touches every part of your life, amplifying the benefits of your disciplined actions. Building momentum through discipline requires patience. There will be moments when it feels like your efforts are not yielding results as quickly as you would like. There may be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when the path seems unclear. However, the key to creating momentum is to keep going even when things feel difficult. The beauty of discipline is that, while it may feel like slow progress at first, the momentum it creates builds on itself. The longer you stay disciplined, the more powerful that momentum becomes. Eventually, you find yourself in a place where your actions seem to flow effortlessly and your goals start to manifest more naturally. Each small action, when done consistently, leads to incremental progress, and before you know it, you find yourself closer to where you want to be. Discipline removes the ambiguity that often leads to procrastination and instead focuses your energy on purposeful, productive activities. As discipline begins to create momentum in your life, it also builds self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce your ability to keep promises to yourself. This trust is crucial for long-term success. If you can't rely on yourself to take the necessary steps toward your goals, it becomes incredibly difficult to achieve anything of significance. However, as discipline becomes ingrained in your daily habits, your self-esteem grows because you can count on yourself to do what needs to be done. This trust in your ability to act builds a deeper level of motivation that comes from within rather than relying on external sources of inspiration. And another aspect of discipline is that it enables you to develop positive habits. Habits are the building blocks of success. They are the repeated actions that over time lead to mastery and achievement. Discipline helps you establish good habits by consistently guiding you toward the behaviors that align with your values and objectives. Once these habits are in place, they function almost automatically, reducing the mental energy needed to stay on track. For instance, if you commit to working out every morning, this disciplined action eventually becomes a habit, and as the habit becomes part of your routine, you no longer have to rely on sheer willpower to get you to the gym. Instead, you simply do it because it has become second nature. As these habits accumulate, they build momentum in a way that makes it easier to continue on your path without requiring as much effort or thought. The process of building momentum through discipline also extends to your emotional and mental state. When you consistently show up for yourself, doing the work day in and day out, you create a positive feedback loop in which your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, and your determination strengthens. Each success, no matter how small, boosts your belief in your ability to succeed. This feeling of momentum becomes like a snowball rolling downhill, gaining energy and speed as it continues. The more disciplined you are, the more you begin to see yourself as someone capable of achieving great things. This transformation in self-picture is an essential part of achieving long-term success because your beliefs and mindset directly impact the actions you take. Momentum doesn't just apply to the completion of tasks, it affects every area of your life. When you establish discipline in one area, such as fitness or productivity, it often spills over into other areas as well. The momentum you create in one aspect of your life can fuel progress in others. For example, as you build discipline around your work habits, you may find that your relationships improve because you are more present and intentional with your time. As you discipline yourself to prioritize self-care, your physical and emotional well-being improves, which, in turn, enhances your ability to stay focused on your goals. Momentum, once it begins, creates a ripple effect that touches every part of your life, amplifying the benefits of your disciplined actions. Building momentum through discipline requires patience. There will be moments when it feels like your efforts are not yielding results as quickly as you would like. There may be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when the path seems unclear. However, the key to creating momentum is to keep going even when things feel difficult. The beauty of discipline is that while it may feel like slow progress at first, the momentum it creates builds on itself. The longer you stay disciplined, the more powerful that momentum becomes. Eventually, you find yourself in a place where your actions seem to flow effortlessly and your goals start to manifest more naturally. The mindset of a disciplined person is one that revolves around a commitment to long-term goals and the ability to resist the pull of immediate gratification. Discipline is not just a set of actions or behaviors. It is a way of thinking, a philosophy that governs how a person approaches life. It is the ability to make decisions based on purpose and values, not emotions or fleeting desires. A disciplined person understands the importance of consistency, responsibility, and focus, recognizing that achieving success requires a strong mental framework and a willingness to make sacrifices. This mindset is the foundation of lasting success, as it enables individuals to navigate challenges, overcome setbacks, and stay on course even when motivation wanes. At the core of a disciplined mindset is a deep sense of personal responsibility. A disciplined person takes full ownership of their actions and outcomes. They do not blame others or external circumstances for their failures or shortcomings. Instead, they recognize that they are in control of their choices and that every decision they make shapes their future. This sense of responsibility extends beyond just the big moments. It is about the daily decisions, the small actions that collectively determine whether or not a person will stay true to their goals. The disciplined person knows that their future is not shaped by luck, but by the choices they make today. This responsibility also includes the ability to be honest with oneself. Discipline requires an awareness of one's strengths and weaknesses, an understanding of what drives behavior, and the ability to stay accountable to one's own promises. A disciplined person doesn't make excuses. They know that discipline is not about avoiding discomfort, but about pushing through it with persistence. When they encounter setbacks or difficulties, they don't give up or become discouraged. Instead, they look for solutions, reassess their approach, and adjust their strategy if necessary. They understand that challenges are part of the process and that success is not always linear. Rather than seeing failure as something to avoid, they view it as a valuable opportunity for learning and growth. Another hallmark of a disciplined mindset is the ability to delay gratification. In a world where instant satisfaction is often readily available, a disciplined person resists the urge to indulge in short-term pleasures that derail their long-term goals. They understand that true success requires patience and the ability to make choices that align with their long-term vision. Delayed gratification is a mental muscle that needs to be exercised and strengthened over time. A disciplined person recognizes that the rewards they seek in life, whether financial, personal, or professional, require hard work, sacrifice, and time. They make the conscious decision to invest in their future rather than opting for the quick, easy route. This mindset allows them to stay focused on their goals, even when distractions and temptations arise. Focus is another essential element of a disciplined mindset. A disciplined person knows how to block out distractions and keep their attention on what truly matters. They understand that in order to achieve their goals, they must be intentional with their time and energy. The ability to focus means prioritizing the tasks and actions that move them closer to their objectives, while avoiding the distractions that derail progress. This focus requires a level of self-awareness that allows a person to recognize when they are being pulled away from their priorities. It means being able to say no to things that do not align with their goals, no matter how tempting or appealing those things may seem in the moment. A disciplined mindset also involves a commitment to consistency. Discipline is not about willpower alone. It is about building habits that align with one's values and objectives. A disciplined person knows that success is the result of repeated actions over time. They make small, consistent efforts each day that compound and build momentum. They understand that the key to success lies not in grand gestures or isolated bursts of effort, but in steady, persistent action. Consistency creates a rhythm, a flow that propels the disciplined person forward. They do not wait for motivation to strike, because they know that discipline is about showing up and doing the work even when they don't feel like it. This commitment to consistency is what differentiates those who achieve their goals from those who fall short. Self-control is another defining feature of a disciplined mindset. The ability to regulate one's emotions, desires, and behaviors is essential for maintaining discipline. A disciplined person understands that emotions can be fleeting and that they should not dictate actions. When faced with difficult situations, they do not allow frustration, anger, or fear to drive their decisions. Instead, they make choices that are aligned with their long-term vision. Self-control also involves resisting the urge to procrastinate, to put things off for later. A disciplined person understands that time is a precious resource, and they make the most of every moment by staying focused on their priorities. A disciplined person also embraces discomfort as a part of the process. They know that growth often requires stepping outside of their comfort zones. Whether it's pushing through physical discomfort during a workout, persevering through mental fatigue while working on a project, or facing the emotional discomfort that comes with change, a disciplined person is willing to endure temporary discomfort for long-term gain. They understand that it is only through discomfort that they can develop new strengths, skills, and resilience. Rather than seeking comfort, they actively pursue challenges that force them to grow and evolve. And another key aspect of a disciplined mindset is resilience. Life is full of obstacles, and the path to success is rarely a straight line. A disciplined person understands that setbacks are inevitable, but they do not let these setbacks define them. When they encounter challenges, they face them with a problem-solving mindset. They adapt, adjust, and keep moving forward. Resilience is not about avoiding failure. It is about bouncing back from it stronger and more determined than ever. A disciplined person knows that the road to success is often paved with difficulties, and they are prepared to tackle those difficulties head-on. Ultimately, the mindset of a disciplined person is one of intentionality, responsibility, and persistence. It is a mindset that prioritizes long-term goals over short-term comforts and focuses on consistent, purposeful action. Discipline is not about perfection or rigid control. It is about understanding that success requires effort, sacrifice, and perseverance. A disciplined person embraces the process of growth, knowing that every step taken, no matter how small, is a step closer to their ultimate vision. They remain focused on their purpose, maintain control over their actions, and stay committed to the journey no matter what obstacles they face along the way. Each small action, when done consistently, leads to incremental progress, and before you know it, you find yourself closer to where you want to be. Discipline removes the ambiguity that often leads to procrastination and instead focuses your energy on purposeful, productive activities. As discipline begins to create momentum in your life, it also builds self-trust. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you reinforce your ability to keep promises to yourself. This trust is crucial for long-term success. If you can't rely on yourself to take the necessary steps toward your goals, it becomes incredibly difficult to achieve anything of significance. However, as discipline becomes ingrained in your daily habits, your self-esteem grows because you can count on yourself to do what needs to be done. This trust in your ability to act builds a deeper level of motivation that comes from within, rather than relying on external sources of inspiration. Another aspect of discipline is that it enables you to develop positive habits. Habits are the building blocks of success. They are the repeated actions that over time lead to mastery and achievement. Discipline helps you establish good habits by consistently guiding you toward the behaviors that align with your values and objectives. Once these habits are in place, they function almost automatically, reducing the mental energy needed to stay on track. For instance, if you commit to working out every morning, this disciplined action eventually becomes a habit, and as the habit becomes part of your routine, you no longer have to rely on sheer willpower to get you to the gym. Instead, you simply do it because it has become second nature. As these habits accumulate, they build momentum in a way that makes it easier to continue on your path without requiring as much effort or thought. The process of building momentum through discipline also extends to your emotional and mental state. When you consistently show up for yourself, doing the work day in and day out, you create a positive feedback loop in which your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, and your determination strengthens. Each success, no matter how small, boosts your belief in your ability to succeed. This feeling of momentum becomes like a snowball rolling downhill, gaining energy and speed as it continues. The more disciplined you are, the more you begin to see yourself as someone capable of achieving great things. This transformation in self-picture is an essential part of achieving long-term success because your beliefs and mindset directly impact the actions you take. Momentum doesn't just apply to the completion of tasks, it affects every area of your life. When you establish discipline in one area, such as fitness or productivity, it often spills over into other areas as well. The momentum you create in one aspect of your life can fuel progress in others. For example, as you build discipline around your work habits, you may find that your relationships improve because you are more present and intentional with your time. As you discipline yourself to prioritize self-care, your physical and emotional well-being improves, which in turn enhances your ability to stay focused on your goals. Momentum, once it begins, creates a ripple effect that touches every part of your life, amplifying the benefits of your disciplined actions. Building momentum through discipline requires patience. There will be moments when it feels like your efforts are not yielding results as quickly as you would like. There may be setbacks, moments of doubt, and times when the path seems unclear. However, the key to creating momentum is to keep going, even when things feel difficult. The beauty of discipline is that, while it may feel like slow progress at first, the momentum it creates builds on itself. The longer you stay disciplined, the more powerful that momentum becomes. Eventually, you find yourself in a place where your actions seem to flow effortlessly and your goals start to manifest more naturally. In moments when you feel discouraged or when the work seems overwhelming, remember that the future you is out there waiting. It's not an abstract concept, it's a tangible version of yourself that will exist if you take the steps necessary to get there. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, focus over procrastination, and perseverance over quitting, you are bringing that future version of yourself closer. The future you is not waiting for a miraculous change to occur. It's waiting for you to make the decision to change your life now. The future you is already within you, waiting to be unlocked. It is the culmination of your efforts, your mindset, and your commitment to growth. By making conscious decisions today, you are shaping the life you want to live tomorrow. The future you is not a distant dream, but a reality that is within your reach if you are willing to put in the work and take responsibility for your journey. The choice is yours, and the future you is waiting for you to step into it. In conclusion, self-discipline is not just a skill, it is the cornerstone of personal development, empowerment, and success. It is the quiet force that shapes our future, aligns us with our highest goals, and ensures we remain true to our purpose, even in the face of challenges. Throughout the journey of cultivating self-discipline, we have learned that it is rooted in self-respect, responsibility, and the willingness to make sacrifices for the greater good of our future selves. When we take ownership of our actions and decisions, we affirm our value and commitment to becoming the best versions of ourselves. The key to achieving personal greatness lies not in isolated bursts of willpower, but in consistent, intentional actions. It is the small daily efforts, the ability to resist temptations, and the unwavering focus on our long-term vision that ultimately build momentum and set us on a path toward lasting success. Every decision we make today creates the foundation for the future we will experience, and when we approach life with discipline, we step into a future that is built with purpose, resilience, and consistency. By embracing discomfort, we open the door to growth. Through overcoming resistance and fear, we develop the mental toughness required to push past our limits. Each time we make the choice to keep moving forward, even in the face of adversity, we honor our potential and fortify our self-belief. It is through these struggles and moments of challenge that we discover the true strength of discipline and how it can propel us to heights we never thought possible. The mindset of a disciplined person is not one of perfection or rigid control, but one of adaptability, resilience, and focus. It's about showing up for ourselves no matter the circumstances and committing to our goals with unwavering dedication. It's about seeing setbacks not as failures, but as lessons that sharpen our resolve and help us grow stronger. A disciplined mindset empowers us to make decisions that honor our values and align with the life we want to create. reminding us that we hold the power to shape our destiny. Self-discipline is also a powerful expression of self-respect. By committing to our goals and pushing ourselves to take the necessary steps, we affirm our worth. It's an act of honoring our time, our potential, and our purpose. Through discipline, we demonstrate that we believe in our ability to succeed, and we treat ourselves with the same care and respect we would offer to someone we deeply admire. As we move forward, we must remember that the future we desire is already within our grasp, waiting for us to unlock it. The future you is not a distant dream, but an inevitable reality shaped by the choices you make today. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you are destined to become. The future you is waiting for you to make the decision to step into it, to live with discipline and purpose, and to create the life you've always dreamed of. Ultimately, self-discipline is the bridge between where we are and where we want to be. It requires focus, consistency, and a deep commitment to the journey. But in the end, it is the key that unlocks the door to our greatest potential and allows us to live a life that is aligned with our highest values and aspirations. So, take the first step, make the decision, and let self-discipline guide you to the future you are meant to create. The future you is waiting, and it's waiting for you to take action now.